Hi everyone, this is Namrata here, and we are starting a new series on mutual funds where we're going to talk about basics of mutual funds. So we get a lot of comments from our viewers where they want to learn about mutual funds concepts, and we thought it will be great to start a series for all of you. So here in this series, we're going to talk about things like basic concepts in mutual funds. We're going to talk about the different categories of mutual funds like equity funds, debt funds, hybrid funds, and all the other categories. We're going to talk about taxation. We're going to talk about systematic transactions and so on. So do keep watching all these videos, and feel free to post your comments and your feedback. So in this video, we're going to talk about basics of mutual funds. So we're going to talk about what are mutual funds exactly. So I'm sure all of you agree that in today's world, learning about a particular thing or learning about any new thing is not really a big challenge. There's Google, there's YouTube, which can really help us in understanding anything that we want to learn. So for example, if you want to cook an exotic dish, it's not really difficult to find how to do it on YouTube. Or if you're facing a small health issue, it's not very difficult to find the cure online. Now, what are some of the challenges that we could face when we're doing this? So for example, would you want to cook an exotic dish regularly on your own? Maybe not. Now, also to do things on your own, you need a whole ecosystem around you. So for example, if you want to cook an exotic dish, you need a sous chef, you need support staff and so on. Now, even if you want to find, if you have some small health issue and you want to cure yourself, you have to have that expertise or, that ability to diagnose the problem yourself. So it's not really easy to do everything yourself, and for smaller issues it's still okay, but if it's something big, then you still need to go to an expert. So with this learning, let's apply the same thing to our investments. Now I'm sure all of you believe that equity investing is a very exciting process because equities have the potential to give us returns in the short term and in the long term. But now when it comes to equity investing on our own, so for example, if you want to invest in stocks on our own, what are some of the challenges that we face? The first and the biggest challenge is we need to have the knowledge and the expertise to decide which stocks we want to buy, or basically how to select the right stocks. Secondly, we should be able to diversify the portfolio, right? And do we have enough money to diversify the portfolio to invest in multiple stocks? And thirdly, do we have enough time to periodically review our portfolio, which is also very important. So imagine an individual investor who's trying to overcome all these challenges. So there are close to 2,000 companies that are listed on the National Stock Exchange and about 5,000 companies listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange, belonging to 18 different sectors. So if you as an investor have to create your stock portfolio of say 30 to 40 companies, just imagine how difficult it can be. And this is where the whole concept of mutual funds fit in, because you want to overcome your challenges in terms of time, in terms of money, and in terms of expertise that is required. So let's understand what exactly are mutual funds. So in mutual funds, money is collected from multiple investors, and that money is invested into a portfolio. Now that portfolio is decided by the investment management team that does a lot of research. It could be on stocks, on sectors, on economy, to eventually decide the portfolio of that particular mutual fund. Now if you're looking at an equity mutual fund, for example, it would have say 30 to 50 stocks. So which means as an investor, by investing a small amount of money, now you're getting a well diversified portfolio. And the fund management team, this is their full-time job. They do this, they do this completely. So come to look at it, they're able to periodically review the portfolio as well. The biggest benefit of investing in mutual funds is that we have an expert or a team of experts handling our portfolio. A lot of times we only hear the fund manager, but it's actually the whole fund management team that is working on our portfolio. The fund management team comprises of the CIO, the fund manager, and the research analysts, who are taking joint call in terms of how the portfolio is going to be structured. The biggest benefit is that all these individuals come with a lot of work experience, a lot of expertise, and very good qualifications that makes them part of the team. Also, the fund management team is not taking emotional decisions, but they're taking logical decisions. So to summarize, why should an investor invest in mutual funds? One, you get access to the best of the brains through the fund management team. then as an investor, based on your need, you have multiple options that are available. So you can invest in large companies, you can invest in mid-sized companies, different sectors, different themes. You could invest in bonds, you could invest in gold and silver, you could invest in international markets, or a combination of any of these. So that's the big benefit, that you can invest in any investment option based on your individual need. You can invest as low as 100 rupees in mutual funds, and you could do that regularly, which is also going to bring in a lot of discipline. Also, for example, if you're looking at investing in an equity mutual fund where you're holding, say, 30 to 50, where the fund holds about 30 to 50 stocks, then you are indirectly investing in these stocks through the mutual fund. So now that you know what exactly are mutual funds, let's understand what are the different categories in mutual funds. But before I tell you the different categories, you need to understand what are the different asset classes. So there are equities or stocks, which is the first asset class. Then you have debt or fixed income. Then you have gold, and then you have real estate. And you have mutual funds which specialize in each of these categories. So for example, if you are looking at an equity mutual fund, it would invest in equity stocks. If you're looking at debt mutual funds, they would invest in bonds. Or a gold mutual fund, which would invest in gold. Now in each of these broad categories, you have multiple funds that are available. So if you look at the equity funds category, we have funds like large cap funds, or we have mid cap funds, flexi cap funds, multi cap funds, ELSS funds, sectoral funds, thematic funds, and so on. Under the debt funds category, we have funds like overnight funds, banking and PSU funds, credit risk funds, and so on. Then we have hybrid fund category, which is basically a combination of equity and debt. So you have funds like your conservative hybrid funds or aggressive hybrid funds, balanced funds, or dynamic asset allocation funds. And then you have the last, which is solution oriented funds, where you have the retirement funds and the children education funds. Now we're going to talk about each of these categories in detail in our upcoming episodes. So in our next video, we're going to talk about active funds versus passive funds. If you've liked this video, please do like and share it with all your friends, and of course subscribe to the Groww channel so that you don't miss any of the future videos. If there's any specific topic that you want us to cover, please feel free to mention that in the comment section. And also, if we are using any example to explain a particular concept, please remember, do not take that as an advice or as a recommendation. We are using those only for educational purpose. Thank you so much.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read the risk disclosure documents carefully before investing in equity shares, derivatives, mutual fund, and or other instruments traded on the stock exchanges.